How do creative strategists typically spend a week? So most of our customers, they ship very high volumes of ads every single week. And the creative strategist typically sits at the middle of this very process. So they communicate with the performance marketers, they communicate with the creative team, they might be using agencies to scale content further. Usually where their week starts is with some kind of a creative retro. You start by diving into last week's performance, usually starting from how many ads did we launch, how are these ads mapped out across personas that we're targeting and personas for our products. And then you split them into attributes. So you look at what's scaling, you look at top performers based on your own KPIs, what's showing promise, and then you start mapping them out into different attributes. And you're essentially trying to get to winning combinations of attributes, which will guide you going into the next sprint or the next week. What happens then is usually brief writing. You start thinking about the coming week's briefs, the ideas that you want to try for new ads, and you start working on them. Usually creative strategists stitch together 5 or 6 different tools throughout the week to make this entire process work. Starting from the analysis part to having some kind of canvas or briefing system where you're mapping out your ideas for the next sprint. Then you get to actual production. That needs to be tracked somewhere. Who's doing what? Are we leveraging agencies, freelancers, our in-house team? And you want to map that out into some kind of tracker so that you know what's being produced and where everything is going. Then once assets are actually ready for review, that's another tool that you typically use. They get delivered somewhere, they get reviewed, you comment on them, and then the final version gets approved. If you're shipping, let's say, hundreds of new ad concepts every month, you do want a good handoff process because the files are moving between multiple stakeholders throughout this sprint, starting from the creative strategist, from the brief to production, to where it's actually approved, then to media buyers who are actually uploading that into ads and launching the ads.